Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at the latest expansion for Warcry Nightmare Quest. So over the last year we've had a number of different Warcry expansions all set around Ger and the Gnarlwood, and this is the final one, pitting the Stormcast against the Flesh Eater Courts. Now this is a really exciting one for a couple of reasons. A, we get some really nice new Stormcast models, some amazing new Flesh Eater Courts model, which if they're a sign of the look of the army going forward, then hopefully we're in for a whole range refresh and lots of cool new stuff for them. And also we get a few different scenery pieces in this one too. So this video, what we're going to do is have a look at the content, have a look at the sprues, have a look at all the instructions and look at the campaign and all the rules for the different warbands. And then towards the end of the video, hopefully I should have a big chunk of this paint. I want to try and get the Flesh Eater Courts done and the scenery ideally. And Dave will be working on the Stormcast, so hopefully be able to show you the full painted set towards the end of the video. Before we crack it open, let's just flip it over and have a look at the back of the box so we can see what is in here. So like I said, we get two warbands in there. The Questor Soulsworn, which are the new Stormcast Eternals one. They've got a look very reminiscent of the Praetors, but they are very, very nice Stormcast. It's a small warband with only 6 models. On the other side, we've got the Royal Beastflayers, which has some brand new models for the Flesh Eater Courts. We had the limited edition model that came out just before Christmas, but these guys, it's been a long time since we've had brand new Flesh Eater Courts kind of infantry. And there's some really, really cool, weird stuff like whatever that weird undead gorilla thing is, because it's absolutely terrifying. So yeah, what we're going to be doing is having a look at this, putting it together as well. One interesting thing about the content is you get a Realm Shaper engine in there too, to kind of mix up the look of the scenery in the set. So yeah, let's crack this open and have a look what we get inside. So once again we get a big old box filled with sprues. We'll take out these first because they look like the new Stormcast. Looks like we get 2 identical sprues for these, which is interesting. And then I assume a couple of different ways of building them. So whether this is going to be a new unit for the Stormcast Eternals if they get a new book in the future, that is quite interesting. Because they've got quite a few different weapon options on there as well, and a couple of different heads. So yeah, they're looking really, really cool. So you get 2 sets of these frames, and I assume on the kits there's going to be enough kind of ways to build them differently. So yeah, that's really nice. Again, we've almost done all of the Stormcast, all of the battle tomes this edition of the game, so it wouldn't surprise me if we did get a kind of second Stormcast book maybe, and then next year probably we're going to get the 4th edition of Age of Sigmar. So yeah, there might be some new shiny Stormcast stuff on the way, so that's a good sign of that. So they look really cool, 2 identical sprues for them. We also get the Flesh Eater Courts as well. Now these are, for me, the real draw of this box, because like I say, we've not had any brand new Flesh Eater Courts for a long time. I know we've had a couple of characters, and we had the Endless Spells, but really majority of their range was using old Warhammer Fantasy kits, and now we get some really horrific new stuff in here. Like I say, the weird undead gorilla thing looks really hideous. The leader looks like he's kind of got a lance as well, which kind of... The cool thing with Flesh Eater Courts and Age of Sigmar is that the idea was that they think they're like a knightly order, but they're not, they're just horrific monsters. But that never really was represented in the models, so it's kind of invented from a lore point of view. So to see that reflected on here, where they have got, kind of swords and kind of weapons that you could imagine being part of a royal court, yeah, that's really cool. So obviously as we get through the book we'll have a look at kind of what they're like in the game. From a scenery point of view, like we've seen with the other Warcry boxes, there's a little bit of duplication here from previous boxes. So this piece we've definitely seen before for one of the trees. That has the base of one of them, and I think a few other bits in there go in conjunction with other bits that we've got in order to kind of build up the couple of trees in the box. Like with the other ones as well, we get a sprue of these bridges and little bits of scatter terrain and stuff, and they're still really nice. We get the other tree in here too. So again, this builds up the other one with the kind of it's kind of strangling this poor creature on the base. Again, they're all the same as the other one. Now, I don't know if they go together in different ways. For some of the Warcry sets, there's been a little bit of variation in how you build them. I think these two trees that this one builds are the same out of the core box, but obviously we'll check that when we come to look at the instructions. The other new bit in here, though, is the Realm Shaper engine. Now, on first glance as well, I don't think this is exactly the same as the Realm Shaper engine that you can buy. You know, for the Seraphon. I think this is its own sprue that's been put together for this set, which is interesting. Yes, it is, because the Realm Shaper engine is double-sided, so you can flip these parts either way. But this one has been specifically made just for this Warcry set, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, really, really nice kit. Obviously, the kind of thing that we're fighting over in Warcry is a crashed Seraphon vessel, and I guess in this box we finally get to the ship itself and some of the devices on its surface, such as this Realm Shaper engine. So we get two identical sprues for that. Again, with these scenery sets, they're normally quite clever in building it so that, you know, kind of one sprue can be duplicated in order to build some of the fancy stuff. And yeah, we see that with that. So I'm looking forward to building that up. Again, at the end of the video, hopefully, should have this all kind of built up and painted. And I'll update the painting guide over on Sprues and Brews to kind of reflect the new bits. So we also get cards with all your kind of victory conditions and maps and deployments and all that kind of stuff as usual. And the board. We'll have a look at the Might and Madness expansion book in a little bit, because that's got all the rules for the warbands in there and kind of all the new lore and stuff. We do get our cards for the warbands too, so I'll have a quick look at their actions on here and a quick look at the models. The Beastflayers look so cool, don't they? Really, really like them. And the new kind of ghoul squires and stuff. So yeah, if that's like a new infantry kit for the Flesh Eater course, that'd be amazing. So their reaction, Tenacious Hunters. After a visible enemy fighter within an inch of this fighter makes a disengage, allocate D3 points to that fighter. That's really good. There's no like roll off or anything, it just takes D3. And then their abilities, again, we'll have a look at those properly when we're going through the book, but just wanted to show those. And we've got the Questor Soulsworn as well. Again, you can see there that it's six models with a couple of varieties on there in order to build up the unit. So I am interested to see how they'll be reflected in games of Age of Sigmar, whether that's like a unit of 3. So there's a few different command options. Obviously there's quite a few weapon options too, so it'll be interesting to see how they work. But their reaction, Swift Retribution. A fighter can make this reaction when they're targeted by a melee attack. After the damage is total but before it's allocated, if it's enough for the fighter to be taken down, pick another friendly fighter. That fighter makes a bonus move action or a bonus attack action. So basically, if one of your guys get taken out, one of their friends can come in and do a move and attack themselves. So that's pretty good, especially if it's, you know, going to take the fighter out anyway. You're not going to be able to use their action. So if you've not activated them yet, it's definitely worth doing that for those. And again, like I say, we'll look at these properly in a little bit, but there's the abilities for the Questor Soulsworn too. So before we jump into the Might and Madness book though, what I did want to do is just have a quick look at the instructions to see how these all go together. So one of the things I always say for these videos is for Warcry, it's always having a working out what you want to do with your warband, how you want to build it before you do, because a lot of the time the models will have different options on them, and for the Stormcast I've seen there's quite a few pieces on the sprue. Like this first model can be built in quite a few different ways, so it's a case of just working out how you want to build it first, because you don't want to limit yourself for the kind of options on the kit. So yeah, so they're really, really cool. And then we've got the Royal Beastflayers. Now I believe these have got less options. Also there's a couple of weapon options for the kind of leader, and a few options there. At the time of filming this section, I don't know if there's much difference in weapon options for them. But yeah, again, it's worth double checking all that to see if you are going to limit your builds. And then obviously we get the instructions for the Realm Shaper engine too. Oops, open that up there. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be quite straightforward to put together. And then all the trees and stuff, if you've built them before in previous Warcry boxes, you're going to know the drill with these two. Yeah, and again, a couple of trained pieces, the main piece really being that Realm Shaper engine. My kind of real kind of excitement with this box are these new Beastflayers, because it opens up a lot of possibility for new Flesh Eater courts. So yeah, excited to see that. So yeah, let's jump ahead and have a look at the Might and Madness Warband Tome. So let's take a look at the Might and Madness supplement. So basically what this is a warband tome. It's the equivalent of a battle tome for Warcry, and it covers both of the new warbands within the box, plus the rules and some campaigns and some new narrative as well. So within here, the first section is all about the lore, and we learn a little bit more about the Eye of Chotek, the Seraphon ship that's crashed. Now it seems that there was Realm Shaper engines fixed to the side of this thing that came dislodged as the thing was crashing, and they've kind of scattered across the Gnarlwood. Now obviously the Realm Shaper engines in the wrong hands could be quite a powerful thing. So the God King, Sigmar, decides to send the Stormcast Eternals to protect this, because normally the Seraphon would do this themselves, but many of them died in the crash. There's a few, skinks and stuff that are still alive, but not nearly enough to fight off, an invading force that wants to try and take control of this Realm Shaper engine. And so the Questor Soulsworn are sent to go and defend it, and this is basically the setup for this book. Now interestingly in here, no one gets inside the Seraphon ship, and I always thought that this was going to kind of lead towards our warbands actually getting inside the Eye of Chotek and starting to explore the insides of it. Now I wonder if that is the setup for a future season of the game, maybe. Obviously post Warhammer Fest, as I'm filming this, there are no new big boxes for a while. We've got a starter set coming out in the summer, I believe, and then the rest of the releases are kind of one-off warbands and scenery and stuff like that. So I do wonder if maybe we get the next season of Warcry, maybe we stay within this setting and go inside the Eye of Chotek. It'd be cool, I don't know. We also learn about the Royal Beastflayers, so these are really cool. Basically they're a questing party that's trying to hunt down monsters and stuff, hence being sent to the Gnarlwood. So you've got, squires in there, you've got the hunting dogs. They think they're hunting down, dragons that are terrorising local citizens in their delusion. Who knows what they're actually fighting in real life? But this is the warband that faces off against the Stormcast in the narrative. And yeah, they're really, really cool models. We'll see them in a little bit. I've really enjoyed painting them up. So yeah, so we get the lore, and then we get the rules for the two warbands. The Stormcast in particular are quite an interesting warband, because they're made up entirely of heroes. So, if the page wants to turn, you get some new rules for them. Basically, there's no limit to the number of fighters with a hero keyword that you can have in your Soulsworn warband, which is really cool. So, obviously they're all heroes anyway, so that's the only way you could build your warband. But in addition, you can have 2 fighters with the hero rune mark from any other faction rune mark too. So that's pretty cool. Obviously I think most of the time you'll probably go pure Questor Soulsworn for the synergy abilities, but this means that if you want to, you can take another couple of heroes from a different warband or a different faction, which is pretty cool. It gets that, I guess, feel of a few heroes banding together. What I will say, that also means that some of the builds, the models, and hopefully I have shots of the Stormcast that Dave built up, but obviously as we saw earlier, it is 2 duplicate sprues of 3 models. So some of the builds aren't too bad, but you'll probably get 2 that are in a very similar pose. So what this means is you can take along a different hero to add to the warband. aesthetically if you want to have them all looking different. So that's probably what I'd do, but obviously you've got the option there. Now stats wise, these guys are pretty good. You've got toughness 5 across the board on the fighters, 20 wounds apiece as well. The downside is the slow with movement 4, and you've got an absolute range of different weapon options on them. You know, going from 3 attacks at strength 5 to 5 attacks at strength 4, doing the minimum 2 damage. A lot of them spike up to 5 damage. What you're lacking is range. Your only range attack really is on the Knight Relictor. He's got an 8-inch, 2 attacks, strength 4, damage 3/5 attack. So you could spike for 10 damage on that one, which is pretty cool. So yeah, they're pretty tough stats. They're pretty good. Obviously, you're only going to have 6 of these guys, so toughness 5 and 20 wounds apiece, they're going to be pretty hard to chew through. Where they come into their own, though, is with their abilities. So their reaction, Swift Retribution. Basically, you want to use this if you know that your character's going to die and he hasn't activated yet, because basically it gives another friendly fighter a free action. That can be a move action or an attack action. There's nothing saying that they have to use that attack action on the person that took down your model as well, so you can use that to kind of set up your next turn perhaps. And that kind of plays into their abilities too. There's lots of things here that give people bonus move actions, bonus attack actions. There's quite a lot of cool stuff for movement. Translocation is a quad from the Relictor, and basically you pick a friendly fighter within 3 inches, you take them off the board, and you put them down anywhere outside of 4 inches of enemy models. Really, really good. So on a kind of objective game, they can zip around the table doing that. They're quite tough. You've got all these free actions coming through. Yeah, really, really like them. We'll quickly run through the other ones. So double Thundering Strikes. Pick another friendly fighter within 6 inches. They can make a bonus move action. Double with the force of a Thunderbolt. A fighter can only use this ability after they finish a move within 1 inch of 2 or more fighters. The fighter makes a bonus attack action, so really good. Double, you won't even slow me down. A fighter can only use this ability if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack made by them this activation. The fighter makes a bonus move action or a bonus attack action. Again, you see, chaining together multiple attacks and moves makes up for the fact that you're quite a low model count warbound. Triple Searing Light, allocate 3 points of damage to all visible enemy fighters within 3 inches of this fighter. Pretty good. And Face Me Cowards, enemy fighters that begin their activation within 3 inches of this fighter cannot make disengage actions or end move actions further from this fighter, kind of locking them in place. So yeah, pretty good, really, really like them. The other warband, of course, are the Flesh Eater Courts, the Royal Beastflayers. From a stat point of view, these guys are maybe not as interesting initially. You've got a range of different stats, from your little ghoul trackers, who are only toughness 3 with 8 wounds, quite squishy, up to your Offal Hounds, 18 wounds, toughness 3. Then you've got your Beastflayer Baron, 18 wounds, toughness 4. The Squires, 12 wounds, toughness 4. And then your Royal Flaymaster, toughness 4, 20 wounds. So again, they're a little bit more fragile than the Stormcast. From an attack point of view, we're not too bad. Strength 4, Strength 3 across the board. Again, we've got a number of different attacks there. Where they come into their own, though, again, is with the abilities. Now, the reaction is a little bit less interesting than the Stormcast one. Basically, it's going to stop people from wanting to retreat from you, because they'll take D3 damage if you use that reaction. Nah, it's not the greatest, but it does dissuade people from moving away from you. I really, really like their abilities. They're double. Feed the Hounds, you can use if you take a fighter out of action, and every friendly fighter within 3 inches heals to the value of that ability. So really, really good. If you've got like a double 6 or something, you could potentially heal up like half of your warband after killing something. So really, really like that one. Sound the Hunter double. Pick a number of visible friendly fighters equal to half the value. The fighters can make a bonus move action equal to the value of the ability. Again, pretty good if you get a high result. Double Clambering Horrors. This one can only be used on your Offal Hounds. And basically, you don't count the vertical distance moved when the fighter's climbing. So it kind of gives them quasi-fly, which is pretty good. Unleash the Hounds as a triple. This one's pretty good too. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of the ability to the move characteristic of friendly fighters with the Royal Beastflayers rune mark, while I make a move action that starts within 3 inches of this fighter. So you're not too slow. Tough movement 5 on most things. The offer hound's movement 7, so being able to add some more movement to those, potentially up to movement 8 on most of you guys, is pretty handy. Pack Tactics is a really nice one. It's a triple. You pick an enemy fighter that's visible to the fighter, allocate a number of damage points to that enemy fighter equal to twice the number of friendly fighters within 3 inches of that fighter. So if you can, I don't know how many you'd be able to get within 3 inches. If you're lucky, if you get all 10 models within 3 inches, that's 20 damage. Realistically, you're probably going to be talking 6 or 7 you can maybe cram round it. But even then, that's quite a lot of damage. Being able to maybe overwhelm wounded targets, or even low wound characteristic targets, and just throw all your ghoul trackers and squires on them and just drag them down, is a pretty good triple. And then we've got their quad, no rest till our quest is done. Again, is a really good one. Add 2 to the strength characteristic of melee attack actions made by visible friendly fighters while within 6 inches. So again, pretty good. It makes those strength 3 and 4 attacks actually quite scary when they're hitting on strength 5 and 6. So yeah, really like the warband. And again, they were amazing fun to paint up. So the rest of the book has kind of more rules for Warcry. We do get rules for the Realm Shaper engine, and this is pretty fun. You get access to a new ability while you're on it. It's a triple Power Unleashed. You pick a terrain feature on the board, and every fighter within an inch of that is friend or foe, every fighter within an inch of that takes d6 damage. Really, really cool. Then your guy who's done the ability takes d6 damage himself, so it's a bit of a gamble and you are going to take damage. Seraphon, however, only take d3 points of damage, and if it's a Seraphon with the priest or mystic keyword, they take no damage. So if you've got a Hunters of Huanxi warband and want to maybe get rid of those fighters who are hiding in a terrain piece, yeah, jump onto the Realm Shaper engine and do it. Lots of shenanigans with this one, and again, it gives you a reason to fight over this big piece in the centre of the board too, which is cool. So then, like with the other Warcry books, we do get full quests for both of the factions in the box. So this lets you play through your campaign. Stuff. You've got all your artifacts and quests in there, and all your upgrades for your characters. And again, we get these for both the Stormcast and the Flesh Eater Courts, which is really nice to see. And then again, like with the previous books, we also get some campaigns. So there's one designed around the factions in the box, similar to what we've seen in the past for those, with kind of a branching storyline basing on who wins. And then the final one is a big 4 to 6 player campaign. Basically, you go into 2 factions, you're working together, and it culminates in a big battle that takes place over 2 Warcry boards, and basically you're fighting over that central Realm Shaper engine. So that one will be really good fun. I'm looking forward to having a play with it. So yeah, and then like with the other books, if you haven't got the cards, and obviously this book will be available separately in the future, I think in the summer, I think this is getting released outside of this box. You get all your deployment maps, your victory conditions, your twists, and all your scenery things as well. What we'll point out as well is that there is stuff on here that makes use of the original core set as well. So you can have some with more scenery on. Again, gives you some options. Obviously by now as well, you've got loads of gnarl and stuff, so worst case, I'm sure you can use some trees from your collection to kind of proxy some of these if you don't have those particular pieces. And then yeah, again, like with all the other ones, we get some background tables for both the Questor Soulsworn and the Royal Beastflayers. So let's jump ahead to the future and have a look what these guys look like painted. Before we look at the new models, here's a look at the Realm Shaper engine painted up. And yeah, it's a really nice kit. Now what's interesting about this is that it's not actually the same sculpt as the one from the Seraphon range. It's actually a little bit smaller. I don't have a Realm Shaper engine to hand, sorry, to show a comparison. But yeah, it does sit a little bit shorter than the quote marks proper one out of the full range. That doesn't end up being a really ace model though. This one's obviously designed for Warcry, so you've got the integrated kind of bits that the bridges attach to, and then you can use that then to attach it to the other trees and the like. So that's really, really nice. I'm glad that we've got a big piece of scenery that's different to the gnarl oaks. For this one, obviously this has been in the middle of the Gnarlwood for ages, so I wanted it to be a bit more overgrown looking. So I've added some like clump foliage to give the illusion of you know, trees and stuff growing on it. There are little kind of like leaves and stuff sculpted onto the model, but I wanted that clump foliage just to give it a bit more of a kind of overgrown, kind of tucked away in a corner of the Gnarlwood vibe. So that is the Realm Shaper engine. What we'll do is have a look at the Flesh Eater Courts next. And here are the completed Flesh Eater Courts Royal Beastflayers. And yeah, these are really, really fun models to paint up. I really enjoy doing these. I've painted a handful of Flesh Eater Courts models in the past, such as the limited edition one that they released for Christmas, and a couple of the really odd old ghouls in my Warhammer Fantasy Army ages ago. But it's really nice to see some new Flesh Eater models with a bit of a new vibe to them. Obviously got some really creepy stuff like the hounds, and even just like the guy coming around now, your basic like infantry, are very, very nice. So yeah, have thoroughly enjoyed working on these. Dave has been working on the Stormcast Eternal. The time of filming this, I don't have any images, but if you head over to spruesandbrews.com, there should be some images of those over on there, because I edited this a little bit before he'd managed to paint his up. But yeah, I just wanted to show what these guys looked like. So yeah, and with that is this season of Warcry done. Or is it? Like I mentioned earlier, there's some more releases coming outside of big boxes. So whether maybe they've seen that people do like the scenery in those big boxes, but you know, having the option of buying those warbands separately obviously gives people lots of options. Then the big boxes have sold out super quickly, and again, apologies if it's already sold out by the time this video goes out. This is filmed a couple of weeks before it goes on pre-order, so alas, I do not know what the pre-order situation is like on this one, but hopefully it's available and people are able to pick it up if they want to. All the contents of this box should be available separately at some point in the future too, so you know, there is an opportunity to get all these parts. I'm interested to see what we get in the future of Warcry 2. So we know that we're getting warbands for the other Grand Alliances, because let's face it, Warcry has been a very chaos focused game. So it's nice to see some stuff coming out for the other Grand Alliances. I think there's a couple of Order ones, a Destruction one, and 2 Death ones, something like that. So stuff for the non-chaos factions anyway, which is really good to see. And a new starter set with old models in it coming soon as well, to act as like a gateway to people who maybe want to start playing the game. So lots of exciting stuff to come, and then presumably we'll then start the new season of the game as well as we go into next year. So yeah, that was our look at Warcry Nightmare Quest, the latest box for Warcry. If you have enjoyed this video, why not give us a follow? We do lots of unboxings and battle reports and painting videos and the like. If you would like to support us as well, we've got an affiliate link to Element Games. Anything that you order through there, we get a bit of a kickback. But yeah, it's been fun working on this set. I'm looking forward to seeing what we get in the future for Warcry 2. So until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.